Henry Joyce first purchased 60 acres of land on July 15, 1909. Further purchases were made of 70 acres on August 26, 1909, and a further 382 acres on September 28, 1911, which bordered the end of Highland Road. In the end, he owned 630 acres of land, which would end up being the future Faulconbridge Sawmill site. Working through old newspapers, we can find two very interesting articles. In February 1912, a SMH article outlined a major business at Faulconbridge, the Defiance Cabinet and Chair Making Company run by Mr. George Mitchell of Sydney, who were going to source Grosse Valley hardwoods for furniture making. The logs will be raised by an already built railway to a factory close to Faulconbridge Station for processing. Special machines will mass produce up to 19,000 chair pieces per day, which will then be shipped to Sydney for final assembly. It was planned to compete with a Canadian chair making company that exported all over the world and faced a hefty 30% local duty tax. The article stated that work had been going on for 2.5 years at Faulconbridge, which would soon be humming to the sound of machinery. If this is our incline, then it would have been built well before 1912. Nothing further has been found about this proposed company or that any factory was built near Faulconbridge Station. It was thought that in 1913 to 1914 a steam-driven timber mill built by either Joyce alone or the proposed company in the Linden Creek Valley on a small tributary to Linden Creek. A 900-metre long 1-metre gauge tramway incline track was built using 4-inch hardwood rails fixed to rough bush sleepers, with some on a raised track bed over the difficult terrain. When you see the remains of the boiler today, it is hard to imagine how it was transported to the valley floor, as it is estimated to weigh over 7 to 8 tonnes. It is difficult to determine the layout of the sawmill plant on the valley floor, as the area is rough and there is little left to work out the possible configuration. How they move the logs around is difficult to imagine. The mill has been described as a barn-type building without walls. The colonial-style boiler was popular for use in timber mills near rivers. They were good steamers using wood fuel. Using the reverse flow design, they were compact, easy to clean and maintain. They usually operated at a pressure between 90 to 100 psi. The boiler at this site is 12 feet long, 6 feet in diameter, with 48.4-inch fire tubes. Some fire tubes have been sealed due to steam leaks. The boiler is mounted between sandstone block walls with its brick firebox underneath. This is a fairly large boiler of this type and would require a lot of wood and water to keep operating. It is estimated that there is 950 square feet of surface heating area, which would evaporate around 3,800 pounds or 380 gallons of water per hour, generating 60 horsepower for a boiler in peak condition. In 1914, Henry Joyce became insolvent and to repay debts passed the mill on to Augustus Wilson. The date of this transfer is not known. No record on Wilson has been found. The next owner, being Charles Snell, bought it for £1,600 in early 1920 to only sell it a few months later for £4,000. The next owners seemed to have a lot of financial problems, and a few court cases later still owed Charles Snell money. To make things worse, during this time, in February 1921, a fire damaged the sawmill, which cost an estimated £500 to repair. On January 21, 1922, hardwoods advertised, "For sale, poles and sleepers, must be sold." A sawmill plant was advertised for sale on Saturday, April 1, 1922. Complete firewood sawmill plant, etc., with rights to bush thickly timbered, 50 miles from Sydney. Apply Watkins Brothers, George and Hay Street, Sydney. It is assumed to be our sawmill. However, no record of a sale has been found. In 1928, the land was resumed and placed in the Faulconbridge Park, which was later to become the Blue Mountains National Park. This is the start of the trail. I haven't come across any signs of a railroad line yet, but we will make our way down, and as we go I think we might come across some kind of grooves in the sandstone, if they're still around, and find some markings as we go along. So all this land here, 382 acres, was bought in September 1911, and it bordered the end of Highland Road where I parked my car. So from that little rocky plateau up there, it's really straight, and as you can see, it keeps going straight. This is where things start to get steep. Go and check out this. Oh, this looks very cool. And to quote my sister-in-law, it's great. Found these two parallel lines that have been cut into the side of the rock. Is that something that they did to hold a post in or something, or some sort of structure, or was it natural? I'm not quite sure. Now this is a cool looking tree. I'm amazed I haven't been carrying any passengers with me, i.e. leeches. So I've reached the bottom here, and I'm hoping to see signs of boiler. There's some coils down here, some cables. There's a big crank sticking out of the ground, and some carriage, like wheels for the carriageway. I'll have a look around and see if I can find them. I just hope I'm in the right spot, because I haven't found any signs of what people have taken photos of, you know, cables and cranks and stuff. But all this wood that's here tells me that they wouldn't have had all the equipment down here. This looks awesome. That big piece here would have sheared off from up there a long time ago. Still looking for any type of machinery. Look at this. I don't find anything. It's been a great hike, this one. I'll have to come down here again. It'd be good to be down here on a really warm day. Go swimming in there. Now, there is a junction here that I was told about. I think it's just over here. So let's go check it out. Alright, so this is the junction of a adjoining creek onto the Linden Creek. I'm not sure the name of this one. Just exploring all my options while I'm down here to try and dismiss a lot of areas to where the boiler and the crankshaft and the carriage wheels are. Oh wow, look at this. Yeah, is that a shot or what? I'm going to have to take some photos here. This place is awesome, and it's not that hard to get down to. This is one of the best places I've been to. It just keeps getting better. To be honest, I was just sitting in the sun on that tree, looking around, pretty much giving up on finding anything from the railway or tramway, whatever you want to call it. And I heard about the junction with this creek here, so I'll try it out. And I look around and here I find this massive cable, and the smile on my face, I don't think I've had a bigger smile on my face ever. Look how big it is. And it even goes around here. Just so you can see how thick the cable is. Got my hand around it, so it's probably about that thick. Now, where's the rest of it? It's got to be around here somewhere. If that's here, the crankshaft and that carriageway has to be here. Slippery down here. Walking along, I found like a lid for the boiler, and then here it is. I found the boiler. Look at that. It's massive. And there's the crankshaft. Mate, that's massive. I'll stand next to it, you can see just how big that thing is. I'm just going to put this video camera down, I'm going to walk next to it, and you'll see just how big it is. That looks small. That is massive. Must be the flywheel down there. Try and look inside a bit, you can see the workings of inside this of the chamber. That's what's inside. Now I think this part here must have joined on to the end of the crank and turned everything around, and that's what made it, you know, the cable turn and all the wood to go up to the top of the ridge. Just imagine the effort it would have took to bring this massive 12-foot boiler down here back in 1909 or 1910, down from the ridge down to the bottom of the valley here with the technology back then. Mate, the things they did back then were absolutely incredible. Here's another bit of steel. It's actually a strap brake, probably about 2 meters round. I could probably lay down, have my feet at the bottom, my head wouldn't even touch the top. The only thing left to find is the carriageway, the wheels. I'm going to look around here, maybe around here, or maybe just not sure what this is. It could be another strap brake, it could be two of them, could be a backup one. It's just as big as the other one and looks the same. And this one's got the mechanism inside. Pipe coming out of the ground, and I'm pretty sure that would have been something to suck water in, because that boiler needed a lot of water to keep on working. You can see why they wanted to put a sawmill down here with all these huge trees up here that are really tall and really straight. It's probably the best thing that it wasn't down here that long and really didn't operate for too many years due to the money problems and that people had that bought this sawmill after Henry Joyce first bought the land in 1909. We're still searching for those carriage wheels. Just noticed, trying to look for these wheels. There's some steps here. They would have got the sandstone and carved into blocks. They're still here. For the carriage wheels, there's two of them. One's supposed to be in the creek and one up from the creek. So I've been trying for about an hour now. I'll show you a picture of them anyway, but it's something that I've got everything else. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out, but I'll try and look for them on the way out. I might have gone past them and missed them. Found the carriage wheels, but what other people haven't found is the actual railway line, the tram line. I found it. There's a few metres of it here. It goes into the bush. Look at that. It's not that big, but it's here. Awesome. I'd rather find that than the wheels any day. The actual tram line. Fantastic. Pays off. Here's one of the carriageway wheels. One pair anyway. About a metre wide, probably about 50 centimetres in diameter. And it says the other one's somewhere, probably up here somewhere. I'll try and find it if I can, but I've got everything now. I've even found parts of the tramway that not anyone has found before. It's been a great day. I'm so happy. The boiler and everything, other than the cable, was about 50 metres that way. It will take 5 or 10 metres. So I've backtracked to where I first came in, and I didn't look at this area and found it. Oh, been trying for an hour and a half now. Just sometimes you just got to really look around, and they said one was in the water, and I found the one in the water. It's what a great feeling. I've had a lot of fun today finding the boiler and what Henry Joyce has started in 1909, and it's a fantastic area to come down. It's not that hard to get down here. I don't think it'd be that hard to get back out. So anyway, as I always say, I hope you've enjoyed it, and always hiking thongs.